This is Group 3, Case Study 1 on Alumni Giving. First, let's discuss how we went about this study. So we compiled data from 48 national colleges and universities. We looked at their graduation rates, their percentage of classes under 20, their student to faculty rate, and then we looked at the actual alumni giving rate. Once we input our data into our Excel spreadsheet from the 48 universities and colleges nationwide, these are the results that we gathered first. This is descriptive data, which helps us to come to our conclusion, which we'll discuss at the end of this presentation. Now, there are a lot of numbers here, so please don't let this stress you out. We're only going to cover a few key indicators that led us to do our models. Now, if you would like to see our full report, you can check out our case study report, which we have added alongside this PowerPoint presentation. So let's dive in here. The first thing that we see is that we have a graduation rate. And the range of this rate is a minimum of 66 to a maximum of 97 and has a median of 83.5. There are no missing values, and the values are distributed with a standard deviation of 8.60. Next, we see percentage of classes under 20. The range is from a minimum of 29% to a maximum of 77%, with 59% as the median. The average value is 55.72%, which is actually quite close to the median, and you'll see for our next two, that is the same result, that they are both quite close to the median. Next, we have our student to faculty ratio. The range here is from a minimum of 3 to a maximum of 23, and has a median of 10.5. The average is 11.54. There are no missing values, and the values are distributed with a standard deviation of 4.85. Finally, we have our alumni giving rate. The range of this rate starts from a minimum of 7% to a maximum of 67% and has a median giving rate of 29%. The average giving rate is 29.27%, which again, very close to the median. There are no missing values present, and the given rates are distributed with a standard deviation of 3.44. With this information, we can now generate our correlation data, which you will see here. There is actually a scatter plot that details this information more in our full report. Now, this tells us the following. According to this correlation data, the graduation rate is positively related with the percentage of classes under 20 and the alumni given rate. The graduation rate is negatively related with the student-faculty rate. The percentage of classes under 20 is negatively related with the student-faculty ratio, but positively related with the alumni giving rate. Finally, the student-faculty ratio is negatively related with the alumni given rate. So the student-faculty ratio has a high negative correlation of a negative 0.742 with the response variable. It can be seen from the plot, again, the scatter plot that's in our report, that the alumni giving rate actually decreases as it increases. The percentage of classes under 20 has a high positive correlation of 0.646 with the response variable. The alumni giving rate increases as it increases. So we found that the type of school, whether private or not, plays a significant role in determining the alumni giving rate. All of the predictor variables also have a strong correlation among them, suggesting that multicollinarity can be a potential issue. Now, in the next few slides, you'll see a few models that we use to test our theories on which values in particular lead to predicting alumni giving rate best. Now, here we used a simple linear regression model with the graduation rate, but unfortunately, we did not find this model to be effective in determining our results. In our simple linear regression model, all we used was the graduation rate. Now, for our multiple regression model, we looked at the graduation rate, the percentage of classes under 20, and the student to faculty ratio. And while we did get more information from this, and we are closer to our desired target, we did find that there was one thing in this model that really didn't need to be there because it wasn't affecting the alumni giving rate substantially at all, and that was the number of classes under 20. So you'll see in our next model that we actually take that out to find our best results. After reviewing our two regression models, we determined that the top two factors that can predict the alumni giving rate are the graduation rate and the student faculty rate. Now, there may be other factors that greatly affect that giving rate, but this is all that we have in our information. So these are the top two factors that we had with the data that we were given. And now on our next slide, we can see the colleges that benefit most from these models with the residuals. Now we get to the fun part, our results. Now here are our residual results. These are our top 5 colleges and universities who are benefiting from 1, high graduation rates, and 2, high student to faculty ratios. They are, and you'll see them in order, Princeton University, the University of Florida, Dartmouth College, the University of Notre Dame, and Lee University. You will see that both of these, not only do they have a high predictive alumni giving rate, the money that they believe is coming in, their residuals also are very close to matching that money. So these colleges are doing very, very well. Unfortunately, with good news comes bad news, and here are the bottom 5 universities and colleges who are not doing well with graduation rates or their student to faculty ratio as it shows in their numbers. The University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, Johns Hopkins University, the University of California, San Diego, Columbia University, and Northwestern University. As we touched on, there are a few limitations to this overall study. Now, number one is that we have a very small sample size. We only have 48 colleges and universities nationwide. So if we had a bigger sample size to pull from, we would get more accurate numbers in a greater sense. We also have a limited number of attributes. So the more we have for input data, the better results that we get in the end. And you will see this next in our conclusion. Now, here are our recommendations as well as our conclusions. Number one is that we could use external data from older colleges. Now, this helps a great deal in the sense that older colleges have more alumni to pull from as far as alumni giving goes. It also gives us more long-term view of trends along the lines of financial giving. Now, those could be trends in the economy, they could be trends in graduation rates, etc. So there are a lot of things that we could learn from older universities, and it's not exactly fair to put newer universities up against the older ones and judge them on the same criteria. We could also look at the local alumni base impact. This means how many alumni actually are very close to the area of the school. Are these schools in small college towns, or are they in large cities where a lot of the alumni stay because there's a bigger job market there? So what does that look like? Does that affect the giving rate? Now, again, more demographic data. We absolutely recommend this because this can give us more data to input. Some of that data could be how many of these graduates are actually working in their field and how many of them are paid fairly for the jobs that they have within that field. Now, some may be underemployed, which could greatly affect alumni giving rate, and how many are doing well with that. So there's a lot of colleges that we could look at to see, hey, which of your alumni are actually sticking with what they graduated for and they're working in that now. And then finally, we could research the current state of the alumni in general. So we touched on that just a second ago a little bit with, hey, what does it look like right now? Are alumni out? Are they underemployed? Are they having a hard time finding work? What is our financial economy overall looking like? What's the unemployment rate looking like? All of these things affect alumni giving, especially if money is short. Now, in years that that people are doing really well. We might see a huge rise in alumni giving for certain schools. So it'd be great to know what those changes are. All of
All
us
of us
from
from
Group
Group
3,
3,
thank you
thank you
so
so
much for
much for
your
your
time
time
and
and
would
would
love to
love to
answer
answer
any
any
questions that
questions
you
that you
may
may
have.
have.